Okay, here's your standard run from Friday. Oh yeah, I remember this. Whoops. I think you got lost there a little bit. It's hard to see what's going on there. Okay. So we've already talked about some of this stuff a little bit. We'll talk about it again though. So here, this is actually pretty interesting. Because you're moving this way, but your shoulders are kind of facing this way. But he just is totally following your motion. See that? And then now you abruptly change and go that way, and he tries, but it's just too late. So, Jimmy, this dog is going to do exactly what you tell him to do. No pressure. So when you walk a course, and maybe, I don't know how much you look at a course map, but maybe because we get limited time walking the course, maybe you should like spend some time looking at the course map and in your head thinking about how you're going to use your motion and your line of motion and how you're going to cue turns for him before you walk it. Because maybe it will help you a little bit. I don't know, maybe it won't, but I used to really study the course maps and go through a lot of that in my head so that when I did go out and walk the course, I had a pretty good idea of what I was going to do, and then I could adjust it, like if something felt weird or the spacing wasn't like what I thought it was or whatever. But the way that you let out, you should have just ran like this to that jump. And you kind of ran like that and then like that. And he did exactly what you did. Just watch him. See? He did exactly what you did with your motion. So, yeah, we need to work on that. You getting better at just sort of running from one obstacle to the next. And I mean, I'm totally oversimplifying that when I say that, but that's basically what you need to do. And here, I think you got a little lost. You stopped and you looked up to see where you were going, and he took that jump because he's a good boy, but then he's like, oh, and then you have to push him back to the A-frame, and he tries to go into the tunnel because he didn't know what you wanted. So in times like this, I don't know if you can realize, like at that time, that you sort of goofed him up. But if you have a thought that you goofed him up, you need to like praise him and tell him good boy. And maybe you are. I don't know. I'm not listening to the audio. So maybe you are. And if you are, that's great. Then keep doing that. So now this part, oh no, sorry, not this part. So now this, I know exactly what you were trying to do, but you probably should have held up a little bit, because see how far ahead? Well, you didn't really need to hold up. But when he came out, you should have like turned into him. You could have slapped your leg, like your left hand, slap your left leg so he knows to come past this. Because you kind of run out like this, but you do all of that while he's in the tunnel. And then when he comes out of the tunnel, you kind of change your motion a little bit to be going this way. So he just follows that. See how now you made this turn and he like mirrors you. It's almost kind of weird. But you needed to let him see you running out like this, and he couldn't because he was in the tunnel. See, your motion radar is perfect, but he didn't really see it. And then he comes out, and then you push just a little bit this way, and he pushes. He's very sensitive to the pushing. And sometimes when stuff like this happens, like when we miscue, and if you know you've miscued or what, and maybe with him, it doesn't even matter if you've miscued. Because if you've already not qualified on this course. So I think you should just keep going. I think you should say, okay, let's go. And just, who cares? Don't make him come back and take this jump going the right way. Who cares? Right? Especially when you get into excellent. If you make a mistake, you're done. So if you happen to have a mistake like that where he has a refusal or he takes something the wrong way, I would just keep going. Because look at the effect that all of this is having on him. So he takes this jump, he thinks he's right, like he was running before he took that jump. And now he's walking, his head's down, he's going to sniff the ground. So I think in the best interest of him and his little confidence issue, I think sometimes you should just keep going. And it might be hard for you to do that right away because it's hard to like mentally for you to have that like reaction time that fast. But I think it's something that you should consider. And you're clapping and stuff there. And really, you didn't really need to even cue that much of a turn here because the triple, the dogs are going to land kind of long. And as long as you just kind of go like this with your motion, he's going to come with you. So I wouldn't even have worried about a turn here because the distance between this triple and the teeter, we can't see it from this camera angle, but it was going to be fine for them to go out a little bit long and come back to the teeter. So think about that when you're looking at the course map. Think, well, do I really need to cue a turn here at all? Or do I just need to sort of run into this, and show the turn with my motion? And my guess is that 90% of the time with this dog, you're going to be able to just run and use your motion to show him where to go, and he's going to respond appropriately. And see, another thing that happens when you clap is you tend to sort of stop or slow down, and then you're giving him no information except you're clapping, which is telling him nothing. So, things to think about. Okay, so I can see exactly what happened here is you totally took your eyes off of him looking for the tire. This is something that you need to work on a lot. When you're doing a walkthrough, you need to have that like in the forefront of your brain. How am I going to not take my eyes off my dog? Especially when you have to do a cross, because we want to look up and see where we're going. It's like human nature. But you need to find a way to do it that's not so obvious, I guess, because just watch your head and his reaction. So he does, and then you turned away right there. And then it's a disconnect for him. So he kind of goes behind you, and then you have all this trouble getting him in the tire. And he's sniffing the ground again. So this is a huge thing with this dog, is this disconnect by taking your eyes off of him. So you should work on this like in the house even, or in your yard without your dog. Practice like walking, it sounds really dumb, but practice walking and kind of staring straight, but like looking, trying to use your peripheral, I don't know. Good boy. And then the end was fine. See how you just show him where to go? It's a piece of cake. All right, so you're going to show the turn, and you're going to show him where he needs to go. Okay?